What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome back. This is your boy, Johnny Mitchell. Thank you for rocking with me. What's going on? Like and subscribe to the channel. Leave us a comment. We got so much to talk about this week. Of course, our boy, Donald Trump, not really our boy, in fact, not a Trumper. Let's say that right off the bat. And it's not just because I want to get this episode monetized. I'm not. I think him and Biden are both really part of the same cesspool. Maybe Donald Trump is a little more maverick. I thought his campaign in 2016 upended the comfort of the power structure. But he's basically a mainstream guy. He's got a lot of the same hawkish attitudes. He's going to print the same money that the Democrats are planning on printing. Probably fund Israel and some foreign intervention. Maybe not. What I'm hoping is if and when he gets elected, he's not in jail, which is what we're going to talk about today. His trial began in New York City. But B, that he helps avoid war in the Middle East. That's if I was going to vote for that guy, it would be a singular issue vote. And it's for that reason. But we don't even know now, dude. I don't even know what to think. I mean, he's letting me down. He's running a bad campaign. And now they're trying to get him in one of, I believe, 4 criminal cases. This is the hush money case. He is on trial, taking it to the box. Okay, so I want to go, let's go over it in real time. So today, Michael Cohen testified. Michael Cohen used to be, let's go over the allegations first, real quick. He is on trial for a misdemeanor and a felony over alleged hush money payments that he made to Stormy Daniels and another woman, a Playboy model, who he had an affair with in the mid-2000s. And obviously, Stormy Daniels, who was an adult film star, he had a romp with her too. So what happened was, before he even ran for president, clearly, I think the evidence shows that he got together through some intermediaries, one of them being Michael Cohen, the other one being, let me get this gentleman's name, David Pecker, who was a longtime publisher of the National Enquirer, the gossip magazine, and friend of Trump. These are the 2 intermediaries Trump used to pay off Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal before he even ran for president. And those were hush money payments. Those were saying, hey, babe, we had a great thing, but loose lips sink ships, right? Got to be quiet. Now, what they're saying is he lied about that. He obscured business records, okay? And that is the crime right there. That they are charging him for, they say that is campaign finance violations, which is a stretch. But let's read it off. Let's read the actual charges off. Let's read them off. Trump faces 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, a charge punishable by up to 4 years in prison. Now, there's already been, sorry, I had it right here. Where is that? Where is that? So he's charged with falsifying business records, okay? 1 second. 1 second. What are the damn charges? I have it here. Okay. Right here. I have it. New York prosecutors say that Trump, by falsifying these business records, by paying hush money to these 2 women in question, corrupted the 2016 election. This is how bananas this whole thing is. This is what a circus, what a clown court this trial is, okay? Yeah, they said he tried to corrupt the 2016 election by trying to cover up sexual encounters with this Playboy model and adult film star, okay? Now, let's just dissect that one by one. First of all, people are legally paid off all the time. That's what non-disclosure agreements are about, NDAs, or NDAs if they're done after the actions were taken. So sometimes if you go to work for a famous person, you have to sign an NDA, right? Or, I mean, that happens all the time. Or you say, hey, I'm a public figure and I'm going to run for president. I don't want you talking about this, and here's a check. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and you guys can comment below. That is legal. You're allowed to do that. Now, is that ironclad? Probably not, right? There's probably a way to talk up, even after signing an NDA like that, there's probably a way to get around it if you want to go talk about the affair you had with Trump, even though you took a check for it. There's probably a way to do that legally, right? But that's corruption of a trial. Every politician tries to bury news stories. What do you think the Clintons did in the 90s? They didn't want them hearing about how Bill Clinton, when he was governor of Arkansas, covered up the investigation of two boys who were strapped down to railroad tracks and killed because they saw what was going on at the airport in Mena, Arkansas. What are you holding up your hand for?
Somebody commented, it's because he used campaign funds to do it.
So he's saying, okay, great. Thank you for adding to this. Is why we have the chat. So according to the prosecution, Trump used campaign funds to do it. Now that would carry a felony. I'm not sure if they have the evidence to get him on that, to be honest with you. That is a high burden of proof. Okay? Now, Trump may not have a lot of money right now. He's out there fundraising. He's out there. I mean, you know it's bad when Trump's asking me for $5 in a YouTube ad. But back in 2015, this guy had money. I have no idea, though. I have no idea. None of us know the truth. Now, according to Michael Cohen is saying, yes, he did do it, use campaign funds. But Michael Cohen already went to prison. Michael Cohen already went to prison for paying off these women for campaign violations, campaign finance violations. So now he's back ratting after he already did the time. And by the way, he was caught lying to prosecutors during that era. So I think Trump's legal team should be able to shred him as a witness, right? So why is he back? If he took the charges on the chin back then and went to prison, why is he now here all of a sudden spilling his guts? Who's gotten into his pocket, right? That seems very weird to me. Secondly, why is David Pecker, who was a longtime friend of Trump, why is he coming out now testifying, right? I'm not sure if it's on behalf of Trump or against Trump, but these seem very, I don't know, these don't seem like good witnesses. And then, of course, you have Stormy Daniels and the other lady testifying that they took payment from Cohen and from David Pecker. But in my mind, they have no idea if that's campaign finance money. They don't know where that money's coming from. There's no way David Pecker or Trump would let these ladies know where their hush money's coming from. It's just money. It's a check. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, look, they were able to convict him in civil court on artificially inflating the value of his real estate in New York City, which is what every business person does. Every business person is delusional in the valuation of their companies. Go watch Shark Tank. Every shark is like, you think your company's worth what? Every person that goes to try to get a loan from a bank on their buildings tries to give them the highest valuation. Now, but still they were able to convict him because they're in New York. They're in a liberal Democrat-run political city. They were able to convict him on that. So could they get him on this, a felony? It's possible. Now, if they can only convict him on the misdemeanor, which is falsifying documents or claiming these were business expenses when they weren't, look, he probably won't do any jail time. And even if he does, Joe Biden is the worst president in American history. Post-Civil War, okay? Presidents that were, in the antebellum South. Andrew Jackson was a bad dude. I'd say Joe Biden, he wasn't running off owning slaves or killing, massacring Indians en masse. Joe Biden's not that bad. But in modern U.S. history, Joe Biden has the lowest ratings, and the country is just a disaster. So unless Trump is locked up, and maybe you guys can comment here, if a sitting president is doing time in jail, can he still be president if he's elected? Help me out here, because he's going to get elected. Short of like doing a long bid, like doing, because it's up to 4 years in prison they could give him if they convict him on the most serious of charges. But if he gets a misdemeanor and he stays out of jail, he's going to get elected. So there's that. But here's the other thing. They accused Donald Trump of corrupting the election of 2016 by preemptively paying women to stay silent about unsavory news that could come out about him. And that's corruption of the election. But you don't hear a peep from the media about what is now widely known as the Russiagate scandal or the Russiagate hoax that was leaked through Hillary Clinton to a journalist that claimed Trump had some kind of link to Russia or was a Russian spy. I mean, you talk about the corruption of an election. I don't hear a peep about the 2020 election when Hunter Biden, his laptop was buried. About when Twitter, Jack Dorsey chose to intentionally ban that from Twitter, that story from breaking out a month before the election. So my point is every politician is a little dirty, to say the least. Every politician is a little corrupt. Every politician wants to bury unfavorable or unsavory or not very palatable news about them. This is politics in every country. But they singled Donald Trump out. The entire force of the federal government and the media, the mainstream media, is doing everything they can and in plain sight to try to stop this guy from getting elected. So it's like, why just him? I mean, let's put them all on trial. Hey, if you're going to convict every president since Clinton of corruption, if you're really going to root out corruption in the government, I'm all for it. But there's nothing illegal about paying people to stay quiet, and there's nothing illegal about trying to bury information that would make you look bad leading up to a presidential run, because he's a private citizen at that point. Now, the big question is, did he use campaign finance funds? I don't know. If I had to guess, probably. Truly. I mean, yeah, I think so. I think Trump didn't cover his bases enough because he didn't understand how much the powers that be, the man, the deep state, whatever you want to call him, he didn't understand how much he was about to rock the boat in Washington. Because if he had known that, he would have written the checks himself, right? Trump's got $300,000 to pay off a couple of gals, right, that he had an affair with. So, but it's not doing anything. It's not doing anything to hurt his numbers. So let's read this off. Yeah. Now, I find this also very interesting. The judge in the case, let me read this off to you. Juan Merchan, the judge presiding over the case, was also a judge in the Trump Organization's tax fraud trial in 2022 and is overseeing a border wall fraud case against longtime Trump ally Steve Bannon. Interesting. Doesn't that sound like a conflict of interest? It does to me. Merchant has twice denied requests by Trump's lawyers that he step aside from the case. The lawyers contend that he is biased because his daughter runs a political consulting firm that has worked for Democrats, including President Joe Biden. Merchant has said he is certain of his ability to be fair and impartial. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, right there. This is, if it was any other president, if it were any other individual, clearly this is almost an inarguable conflict of interest. But it's Trump. So nobody pays attention. Nobody brings it up. Nobody cares. So there's a lot of people working against him. Of course, it's bankrupting him and all of this stuff. Man, he looks old. He's staring down the pike right there. Oh, that's the famous mugshot he took. Oh, no. Never mind. This is just him. Oh, wow. They straight up took a picture of him in court in the opening arguments. Wow. So this is unprecedented in American history. No former president has ever gone on to criminal trial before. Think about this, bro. Think about this, people. Nixon bombed and killed, I don't know how many Cambodians in the 1970s and lied about it, right? George Bush and Dick Cheney killed, at least 1 million, but probably more like 2 million total Iraqis. And they lied about weapons of mass destruction. Nothing, right? I mean, name a war crime in the last 50, 60, 70 years. A president's probably been involved in it, okay? At least tacitly. No president has ever gone on trial for crimes. Not even Nixon. They let Nixon resign for the Watergate scandal, which by the way was a CIA psyop. We all know that. The older Bush, George H.W. Bush, was head of the CIA at the time. They had long-standing beefs with Nixon from the 60s. They say Nixon undermined them while he was running for office. Okay, so he was a political enemy, even though they were both Republicans. They had a long-standing political beef with them. All right? And on and on and on. Presidents committing crimes of pretty enormous magnitude. Trump is the only one that they are trying, and I mean like throwing everything they got at this guy, right? To try to get him over campaign finance payments. Are you kidding me? Who knows? There's so much dark money in Washington. We have no idea the people from Bill Clinton all the way up to Obama and everybody in between have had to pay off. And we have no idea if that money came from their campaign or from their company, right? So Trump is going to claim that this money came from his company, from a Trump-owned shell company, right? And the prosecution is going to claim that no, that money was in an account that was registered as his campaign finance account. So it's crazy that this is like a felony. This is almost splitting hairs. This is almost schematics. The money came from the wrong account to legally pay off these women. This is pretty insane. So besides this, he's still facing the criminal charges in Georgia by the prosecutor, by the way, the state prosecutor of Georgia, who is herself been essentially found guilty of perjury and tons of finance problems, spending state money to her lover that she was having an affair with on vacations, the guy she also assigned to prosecute Trump. Like, how dirty can you get? But they're still accusing Trump of basically trying to overthrow the election, the results of the election in Georgia. They're trying to get him on the documents when they raided his home in Mar-a-Lago. I don't know a lot about that case, but I heard that that is the case where they have the most evidence on him, where they could actually make that stick. This is what my Republican friends have told me. I have no idea if that's true. But again, that was it wasn't really for anything treasonous or even malicious. It was for mishandling of sensitive documents, right? That's what he was being accused of. So my point here is the hypocrisy, right? It's not that Trump didn't do any slimy things. It's not that he didn't do any dubiously legal things based off of technicalities, really. And this is what these are. These are federal criminal trials based off of technicalities. I'm not saying he didn't do all this. And I'm not saying he's not, a billionaire scumbag. I'm just saying, can we have some consistency in the use of prosecutions in these cases? He's the only one, right? He's the only one that they even bother with this for. Yeah. This was in quote from the prosecution. This was a planned, coordinated, long-running conspiracy to influence the 2016 election, to help Donald Trump get elected through illegal expenditures to silence people who had something bad to say about his behavior. It was election fraud, pure and simple. This is what the prosecution is saying. So trying to sway the election, trying to make yourself look good is election fraud, according to this guy, right? Which, again, we're talking about technicalities. Yeah, you want only good news coming out about you. So Trump's lawyer told the jury that the former president did not commit any crimes and said Manhattan's district attorney, Alvin Bragg, should not have brought the case. Totally. Like, these cases have such thin evidence that in any normal circumstances with anybody besides Trump, the judge would have said, no way, in a motion to dismiss, he would have probably tossed the case, because these cost millions of dollars. So judges don't just take on any case that the prosecution brings them. This case is seen by many legal experts as the least consequential of the Trump prosecutions, based on the facts that have been seen public since 2018. A guilty verdict would not bar him from taking office, but it could hurt his candidacy. So right there kind of backs up what I was saying all along. This will not be enough to put him in this will not be, all this will do will potentially jeopardize his campaign. But as we've seen, when these charges first came up years ago, all that did was improve his numbers, right? It's like the cat's out of the bag. Nobody trusts the man, which I actually love about this time. The baby boomers, God bless them, they're fading away. And in a generation, they'll be gone. And nobody will watch the legacy media. Nobody will believe CSNBC, MSNBC, and Rachel Maddow. There will be Rachel Maddow will be doing a podcast for 3,000 viewers. She will be requesting to come on the Connect with Johnny Mitchell, and we will say, yeah, we'll get back to her. Okay? So that's what I love about these times is Trump just gets bigger because people see this as railroading. They see this as unfair. Now, yes, a lot of people are Trump true believers, right? And I encourage you, if you think Trump is going to solve the endemic problems of the United States, I encourage you to think again, because all he's going to do is stop the bleeding for now. He's going to stop the gushing. But, as I said, his policies are going to be more mainstream this time around. He's already tamping down the rhetoric about draining the swamp. He's already, although he has in a roundabout way been calling for peace with Israel, in Gaza, He's still very much aligned with Hawks, the war hawks, the part of the swamp that he claimed to drain. So I don't know. I don't know. If he gets in, we'll see. I mean, I hope he changes course. I hope he can bring a truce, some kind of settlement in Ukraine. I'm hoping he does that, but it's too late. Biden has done so much damage in 3.5 years that the BRICS nations, help me out, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, have already agreed to stop trading in US dollars. Okay? And that's what that's going to do is cause the rest of the East to say, yeah, we're getting out of US dollars too. Everybody's buying gold. Our currency's so debased. Our borders, forget about it. There's no putting that cat back in the bag. It's things are a mess, dude. And we're going to go into a recession that Trump is not going to help us get out of, except by doing what every president has done since 2008, cutting interest rates, going into quantitative easing, and pumping money back into the economy and making inflation worse than it was in 2022. Okay. But I still want him to win over Biden. I still want, and most people feel like me. I really, if you at home, do you really think Trump's going to make a difference, or do you just want to stick it to the man? I hear you. I hear you, brother. 34 criminal counts, 34 of them. Prosecutors say he falsified checks and invoices to disguise $420,000 in payments to his personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, as legal services. What? When in fact they were meant to reimburse him for paying off Daniels. Well, yeah. Yeah, that's a legal service. What's wrong with that? $420,000. That's your fee. That's a good fee. Here's the money to go pay off the gals. Here's $300,000 to pay off Stormy Daniels and McDougal. And here's $420,000 for your legal fees as an intermediary. Are you a lawyer out there? Tell me, what is illegal about that? Now, if that's just the misdemeanor, though, right? He's disguising it as whatever. I mean, again, that is such a technicality. You could convict 99% of businessmen you could convict me for using the company card when I take a girl out to dinner, saying I talked about business, right? Like, how many people do that? Give me a break. Yeah. American media, which published the tabloid National Enquirer reached a similar deal to pay $30,000 to a doorman who was seeking to sell a story about Trump allegedly fathering a child out of wedlock, which turned out to be false. Okay, so you have all these things about him that were false. But here's the thing. Again, you're allowed to pay off people. The National Enquirer routinely buys people's stories knowing they're not going to publish them, saying, hey, we want to buy that from you, okay? And we don't have to publish it. And you can't talk about it. So Stormy Daniels and Kate McDougal, they're the ones in breach of contract. It sounds like it to me. I mean, you took the money. You took the hush money. That means zip-a-lippa. Zip it. But now they're grandstanding and trying to have their day in court. And I don't know what they're getting out of it. Could somebody please tell me what these women are getting out of it besides, I know Stormy Daniels was trying to do stand-up comedy at one point. I mean, are they all trying to get podcasts and book deals? What is their motivation here? I mean, they just hate Trump. Well, I can see that. Yeah. So Pecker is taking the stand today. The former editor for the National Enquirer. I don't know if it's on behalf of Trump. I don't know. Like, is he a witness for the prosecution or against them? Right? Now, we all saw this. The man who lit himself on fire. There was a young man, a 37-year-old man, who last Friday outside of the federal courthouse where the opening statements for the Trump trial were taking place. This man, 37-year-old Maxwell Azzarello, who arrived in New York from his home in Florida sometime in the past week. He had no criminal record. Apparently, he tossed some conspiracy theory pamphlets in the air right before he took out a bunch of flammable liquid, doused himself in it, and lit himself on fire. He has died. He has died. Very sad. He is seen right here in an article holding up a sign that says Trump is with Biden and they're about to fascist coup US. So I don't know what that means quite. I guess he's saying they're part of the same team. This guy sounds like kind of a nut, right? Trump is with Biden and they're about to fascist coup the US. Now, I guess we're all kind of in agreement with him, right? Not much difference between Trump and Biden. So this is certainly causing at least some people to want to make a statement. It's pretty crazy. Now let's see what Trump's poll numbers are as he goes into Trump poll numbers. As he goes into this criminal trial, Trump poll numbers. Election interest hits new low. Look at that. This is according to NBC News. Election interest hits new low in tight Biden-Trump race. Well, they call it tight. Not tight. But apparently RFK, who's my guy, RFK Jr., his candidacy is hurting Trump's numbers, which is true, which I can totally see that because a guy like me, who if it's for Biden and Trump, I got to vote for Trump. I have to do it, right? For all of the reasons I laid forth beforehand. I think he's going to be the one that keeps us out of spiraling conflict and potentially World War III, not only in Russia and Ukraine, but in the Middle East. I would say Trump is the one that will at least rein that back. I would be a single issue voter on that one issue. And I think it's so important because for all of these reasons I stated, because it's basically going to cause our country to implode faster than it has been. If we have to go to war in the position we're in right now, and we got to enter a global conflict, I think it's going to harm the U.S. So I would vote for Trump if it was Trump Biden. But my guy is RFK Jr. I've said this from the beginning. I don't like his stance on Israel. He's kind of shut up about that. So that's good. He kind of got his card pulled on that. So he's hurting Trump's numbers with good reason, right? Because he's the non-establishment candidate, but he's not Trump. And then, you have people that are just never going to vote if it comes down to Biden and Trump. I won't vote for Trump, but I can't vote for Biden. I'm going to stay home. That hurts Biden, right? I don't know what this criminal trial is going to do to hurt Donald Trump, though. I don't think it's going to. But according to Newsweek, they're dropping. Donald Trump is losing support as President Joe Biden is gaining with just under 7 months to go until the 2024 election. Biden has extended his lead over Trump. Oh, wow. In March. Biden has extended his lead over Trump from 1 point in March, 39 to 38%, to 4 points in April, according to a recent Reuters survey of 833 registered voters. Well, if you will recall, in 2016, the polls were calling for a Hillary sweep, and we saw what happened there. So it's difficult for me, even though I want to believe the statistics, I really do, because I don't want to believe that the nation and the news media can be so corrupt. I really want to believe it, but I just remember 2016. Now, another poll in April from the New York Times Siena poll showed that Trump and Biden are virtually tied, with Trump leading 1 point over the incumbent. Trump's dip in support comes in the run-up to his historical hush money trial starting in New York on Monday. Yeah, I don't know. I cannot imagine how this is going to hurt his base at all. I think at worst case scenario, what this does for him is that more voters stay home on election day or vote for RFK Jr. Right? If he can get on the ballots. We don't know if he can get on the ballots or not in most of the states, which is wild. Okay? So let's look up Trump's other criminal cases. All right? Trump's criminal cases. Florida. Wow. This guy's got cases, bro. Here we go. Trump's 4 indictments in detail. A quick look. Wow, he's facing fraud charges as well. Those are the fraud charges. Federal indictment on classified documents charges in Florida. Trump is accused of keeping classified documents after leaving the White House and storing them in various locations at the Mar-a-Lago Club, including in a ballroom, a bathroom, a shower, office space, his bedroom, and a storage room. Okay, this does sound a little off limits. I'm not going to lie. When you leave the White House, you're not supposed to take anything with you that's classified. Take the drapes, take some of the carpet, take some of the fixtures, take the dishes. I mean, he was never in the White House anyways. This place is a dump. I love that about him. He's like, yeah, I don't like this White House. I got 8 mansions in Florida. What do I need to be in Washington for? So he took classified documents. You're not allowed to do that. And they found him in a ballroom, a bathroom, a shower, an office space, his bedroom, and a storage room. Now, it sounded like he was trying to hide these and a scheme to conceal that he kept those documents. Now, this is an issue. 40 counts, including 32 counts of unlawful retention of national defense information, 1 count of conspiracy to obstruct justice, withholding a document or a record, corrupting or concealing the documents, a scheme to conceal false statements of representation, 1 count of altering, destroying, mutilating, or concealing an object, 1 count of corruptly altering, destroying, mutilating, or concealing a document. So they found him kind of red-handed with all this stuff. You know what I mean? Prosecutors have proposed a July 8th trial date, while the defense, which has argued a fair trial would not be possible before the November election, has said that August or September would be feasible if the court requires the trial to move forward. So this is wild, bro. It is entirely possible if the trial doesn't get started till September, the election could be going on while this man is fighting a federal case. And if the judge pushes the trial back, which he might because it's Florida, keep in mind, this is not New York, this is Republican Florida, it's possible that Trump could be the president of the United States and still be on trial facing 40 federal indictments. This is going to be a wild year. This is going to be a wild year and a half, folks. I'm loving it. You know what? I'm here for it. I'm buying Bitcoin. I'm buying gold. I'm buying Solana. And I'm kicking back with my feet up, watching as it all goes up in flames. Wow. Then, of course, you've got the federal indictment in the 2020 election interference case. I believe this is out of Georgia. Trump is accused of participating in a scheme to interfere with the peaceful transfer of power after he lost the election. Oh, no. This is the January 6th. This is January 6th. This is the Capitol riots. This is probably one of the most spurious, meritless indictments they have on him. Okay? All they have is him telling his supporters to go down and peacefully protest at the Capitol building. That's the evidence they're using. Okay? Conspiracy to defraud the U.S., conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, conspiracy against rights. Man, they can get you for anything. They say that in the feds. The grand jury will indict a ham sandwich. Okay? The trial was initially scheduled for March 4th, but that date was postponed while Trump appealed a claim of presidential immunity from the charges to the Supreme Court. The nation's highest court hears arguments on that claim on April 25th. Okay, so in 3 days, the court is about to decide whether these indictments can go forward or not. He's claiming presidential immunity. That's very interesting. I would claim not guilty. But, I mean, he could beat this. I want him to beat this. With all the evidence we have, how many FBI agents were in that crowd? We know now a lot. How many the doors were opened? Were they not? Now we know. I mean, you couldn't say this 3 years ago. Now we know for certain there was funny business that day, right? So we'll see, but I'm not worried about that one at all. Okay? The one that he's fighting now, the case Trump's fighting now, to me could go 50-50. These are my predictions. Hush money case, I say he gets convicted of the misdemeanor, which is falsifying business records, saying that he paid Michael Cohen out of his personal funds as fees when they were really fees to pay off Stormy Daniels and Katie McDougal, right? I think he doesn't get convicted of campaign finance violations, which are the felonies. I think he gets a misdemeanor on this. I think he beats the January 6th sedition trial. This may not even go forward. I think this might not even go. That's what I claim. That'll be dismissed out of hand. Now let's put the documents case aside for a second. The state indictment in 2020 election interference case in Fulton County, Georgia. He's going to beat this one, okay? Because this is where Fani Willis, who we've seen all over the news, this chick is so corrupt, like she should be the one on trial here, okay? Let's read off this case really quick, and we'll see. We'll take a poll. We'll see the odds, right? Trump and 18 others are accused under Georgia's racketeering, influenced, and corrupt organizations, right, RICO law, of coordinating an effort to thwart proper certification of the state's 2020 presidential election, which Biden won. Again, a lot of technicality. The investigation was launched after an infamous recorded phone call to Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, on January 2nd, in which Trump pressed him to find 11,780 votes. If you'll recall, this was the phone call where Trump said it was a perfect phone call, unbelievable phone call. He said, find the votes, right? So again, everything he does is right on that line. It's like telling his supporters to go down and make your voices heard on January 6th at the Capitol, but then he says, do it peacefully, right? So this is the same thing. He's saying, find the votes. It can definitely be taken as go make up votes, right? Or commit some kind of interference. Trump was originally charged with 13 counts. On March 13th, a Fulton County judge quashed 3 counts of solicitation of violation of oath by public officer. There's still 10 remaining charges. He's scheduled for August. We don't even have a court date yet. We don't even have a court date on that. My prediction is this gets tossed or he's found not guilty. His lawyers are going to shred the prosecution in light of everything that's gone on with Fani Willis and her former lover, who they had to dismiss because he was using money that was supposed to be used, taxpayer money probably, to go on vacation with Fani Willis. She's been exposed as such a liar, such a fraud. I don't even think this gets to trial. If it does, he's already going to be president. I think there's no way they're going to convict him. They don't even have a date scheduled yet. So by some miracle, if this does make it to court, he's already going to be president. Because look, 7 months away, the election, less than 7 months away, 6.5 months away from the election right now, as we speak. So look, what does that leave us with? That leaves us with the document case, right? The federal indictment on classified documents charges in Florida. What can this carry? Punishment for Florida documents case Trump. The conspiracy to obstruct justice carries a penalty of up to 20 years. Oh, they're claiming that he obstructed justice. Judge denied. Wow, judge denied Trump's motion to dismiss the classified documents case. Okay, so it's going through. So he's not getting any quarter there at all. Let's read this. This is from NPR. This is not a balanced journalism, obviously. So the trial can proceed. A federal judge in Florida has denied a motion by former President Donald Trump to dismiss charges against him in the Mar-a-Lago documents case. He's accused of illegally withholding and concealing classified documents after he left the White House. Okay. Now, this is a real problem because this is Florida. This is Trump country right here. So the fact that this goes through makes me think that they could actually get him on this. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, you can get prison time for this. I don't exactly know what the statutes are, but it's certainly feasible that if he's found guilty on all or some of these charges, he's got to go to prison. Now, Brian, if you could look this up, can a sitting president do time? We're going to bring it all the way back. Can a sitting president of the United States of America be convicted and actually go to prison and still be president? Now, the answer is probably not. The answer is the Congress will probably come together and use some kind of, loophole or act that's written into the Constitution that will remove him. If he's actually sitting in a federal prison, they'll say he cannot, right? He's either crazy or he's sitting in prison. He cannot perform the duties of which are required of him, right? But what we're learning is I'm not really sure. What's it saying over there?
It's kind of unclear.
Okay.
So immunity from any lawsuits while on.
Right. Immunity is a thing.
It is under legal dispute whether they also enjoy immunity from criminal
right.
liability or prosecution.
Wow. So the answer is we don't really know. Nobody really knows because this is unprecedented, right? The closest thing we have is, I guess, Nixon, but Nixon was about to get impeached. We don't know if criminal charges were going to be brought against Nixon for the Watergate scandal. We don't know. Good odds are he would get charged, right? He was just going to be impeached and potentially forced out of office. This is completely without precedent. We don't even know. You guys, we are witnessing history being made right here. It's kind of fun. We are witnessing more rules and laws need to be made up and concocted because of what's going on with Trump. I would guess no. That would be I would think first of all, if Trump gets 5 years in prison, that's longer than you serve as president, right? But if he's got to serve 2 years, my guess is no. My guess is they would figure out some way to boot him from office. Even the Republicans. Look, the Republicans, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, he is about to ram through this aid package for Ukraine. So Republicans are coming on board with what Democrats want to do with giving money to Israel and Ukraine. And here's the thing, most of them don't like Trump. Most Republicans do not like Trump. They get on board, though, because they want to survive politically. That's what they did in 2016 when he won. They were all crapping on this dude. They were all betting against him. They were all calling him a threat and a clown and a joke. And then he won, and they all got in line, even Mitch McConnell. This time around will be the same thing. But if he gets convicted while he's president and has to go do time, they'll seize that opportunity, probably come together and oust him from the presidency. That's going to be that's my thing. That's my guess, right? Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. So this is what he's battling. So he has a year. I mean, give the guy a break for not campaigning very much. He's fighting 4 federal counts. He's going to trial for probably at least 2 of them this year. Wow, this is truly RFK Jr. could win. RFK could actually win if he could just get some airtime. If he would just come on my show, right? He needs to start doing more podcasts. He needs to try to get on because he's polling very well. If you look up, let's look up RFK's polls right now. And all you'll get, by the way, is a bunch of slander RFK polls. You'll get mostly the mainstream media dismissing him. But let's read what CNN says. Let's go straight to the belly of the beast. Polls show substantial support for candidates like RFK Jr. How much of it is for real? Interesting. So he is polling. In a recent Gallup poll, 29% of U.S. adults said that neither Trump nor Biden would make a good president, right? 31% of registered voters said they had a favorable view of him. In a national CNN poll last year, 39% of voters who said they would support Kennedy for president also said in a separate question that they didn't know enough about the candidates to offer an opinion of him. Well, yeah, obviously, because you don't give him any airtime. And you call him, some anti-COVID, anti-vax nut, which he's not. Listen to this. Listen to how they paint this guy. The New York Times said, the ex-Bernie Sanders pollster raising alarms about RFK Jr.'s appeal. This is how they talk about you. This is how they talk about us. They're alarmed by what we like. They're alarmed that we see somebody that could actually be a candidate, that could actually help out America. That alarms the power structure. Interesting. Democrats pulling out all stops against RFK Jr. They sure are. Biden polls improve as Kennedy and third-party factor shifts. 2 new high-quality polls. Here we go. I don't know. Polling is hard, man. He takes twice as much support from voters. Got it. So he's polling at about 22% overall. And he splits the Republican vote. 15% of Republican voters say they would vote for them, while only 7% of Democrats. Is that right? I don't know. I get bored with polls. I don't really care. Not a numbers guy. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, it is true that most third-party candidates, they poll very well. And then when it comes to election time, people go vote for the uniparty, either the Republican candidate or the Democratic candidate. However, as you can see, we are living in unprecedented times. So RFK is going to have to figure out a way to get out to the people. And Trump is going to have to continue to get buried in lawsuits. It is why. I mean, is there any way Biden could win? Oh my God. I can't believe I'm saying this. I think Biden might actually win again. RFK, the media is still powerful enough. The legacy media is still powerful enough to smear and mostly just ignore and isolate RFK, right? RFK pulls more people away, more voters away from Trump, who already might be suffering a little bit from the indictments. Oh my God. You know what that means. And plus, you never know what kind of funny business could go on. You never know what a desperate media and a desperate power structure might try to pull in the weeks or a month before the election. So it's pretty crazy. The latest poll from Marist College on Monday shows Biden at 51% and Trump at 48% in a national head-to-head contest. Oh boy. But when you factor in third-party candidates, RFK, Green Party candidate Jill Stein, and independent Cornel West, Biden's lead goes to 5 percentage points, larger than the poll's 3.6% margin of error. So, wow. So he really wins. If people really come out for the third-party candidates, Biden's really going to win. Wow. But then in an NBC poll, it shows Biden trailed by 2 points head-to-head, 44-46. Wow. Okay. So, point is, we don't know anything. The polls don't know anything. All we know for sure is the sentiment of the country. Nobody wants a Trump-Biden rematch. The mainstream media is, again, forcing it down our throats. And RFK, I don't know if he'll have enough support, right? Because he's just not out there enough. You got to be out there. He needs to be saying wild stuff. He's gotta come out a little bit like Trump in the sense that he's got to start grabbing people. Okay? When I first went viral, it was from a clip when I was doing a stand-up comedy show at a hookah lounge, and I was attacked on stage. A heckler ran on stage, grabbed me by the collar, and dragged me off stage, in which I proceeded to get in a wrestling match with him. Okay? 20 million views. That's what RFK needs. He needs to grab them, baby. He needs to figure out how to get out there. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think RFK is going to win. I think it is going to be a Trump-Biden showdown. I think so many people are going to stay home. And look, if Biden wins, it will be more motivation for the power structure to try to put him. Did I say Biden? I meant Trump. If Trump wins, it will be more motivation for the power structure to try to find him guilty. It'll be worse than 2016. It'll be almost worse than Russiagate, if you can picture that. It'll be them trying to put him in prison by any means, but especially this Florida case, right? They'll try to oust him from president, and it'll be him claiming that he's got presidential immunity. And maybe he does do some crazy stuff. This guy who's been driven crazy maybe he does refuse to leave office and tries to pull a coup. I don't know. But if Biden gets in, what's for sure is that this country will go into a spiraling, crippling recession, possibly a depression. And that could happen with Trump too. But the two old guys are focused on taking each other down and the country with it. That I know for sure. All right, you guys, we're going to be talking about the TikTok ban on Wednesday. Thank you so much. Drop a comment. Who do you think is going to win? What's going to happen? I'm socking money away. I'm socking Bitcoin away because I truly, and I was thinking about this when I woke up today. I was thinking this. I might leave this country. Things are getting ugly, and it is clear, and we're going to talk about this more on Wednesday, with things like the TikTok ban that's right now in the House of Representatives, right? And with things like cracking down on college students protesting the bombing in Gaza, right? Like they have the right to do, like you have the right to protest. They're now getting kicked out of school. You know, school presidents are siding with the Israel lobby, right? All of these forces. I mean, nobody cares about the Constitution anymore. Nobody cares about freedom. Nobody seems to care about the First Amendment. And they're just taking money and in front of our eyes, giving a middle finger to everything that made this country special and different and great. So I might bounce, dude. Let me see what Denmark's about. Let me go see what Mexico's about. I don't know. I've kind of had it. Comment what you think. Let us know. Subscribe to the channel. I mean, this is crazy. And I hate to drone on about this, but it's a worry that I woke up with today. And I encourage you people to just get ready for the storm. Get ready for the Stormy Daniels that's coming. You know, protect yourself. Save yourself. Buy gold. I just got a gold bar sent to my house and somebody else, a neighbor, signed for it. So now I might have lost it. So I have to head home now to try to save my gold bullion. So maybe buy gold stocks so you don't have to, you know, deal with these problems, these handling problems. Buy Bitcoin, and Solana is about to run. My name is Johnny Mitchell. Thank you for watching. Go check out my video that I did on Israel. Leave us a comment. We'll see you guys here same time on Wednesday. Take care.